Hello there, my name is Kindod. Today we'll be talking about what makes a song a hit, and I really hope you enjoy this. Thanks for clicking on this, and let's slide into the class. Okay, so when it comes to music, what makes a song a hit is divided basically into two. You have the content and the recommendations. Now, I'll start basically from the content. Now, I know you're like, content, that's like the message of the song. Yes, that entails a part of it, but that's not the whole part of it. Now, when talking about it, I wrote some things down so that I can stay on track and give you the best I can give you from this video. Now, the first thing to consider is to ensure that you have a heartfelt message. By this I mean a passionate message, and your song has to reflect something that is personal to you. It has to show your fragility. It has to show a part of your being. It doesn't have to be something abstract or something you can't relate to. So it has to be something that you really feel passionate about, and that has to form the theme of the song. Now, in writing the song process, the next thing you have to consider is the emphasis of the message. Now, the emphasis of the message, usually, if you check our contemporary song these days, you realize that the song title usually is the theme of the song, and usually is repeated several times rather, and that's what the singer wants you to gain. That's what he really wants you to have at the end of the song. So the theme of your song has to be reflected, and it has to be said over and over again. Look at the song, Pink's "What About Us." She said "What about us" like God knows how many times, and that's the idea. She wants you to think about what about us, what about us. You get the idea? So that's the idea. Now, the third thing about the theme is that the theme has to be something that's the theme is, let me read it out the way I wrote it. So the theme has to be a topic that is to serve as a common ground, and it has to be something that is common to people. So what I mean by that is okay, the common ground is in two ways. It could actually be something that is based on real life principles, that's natural principles governing life, and it could actually be based on your way of life or a general way of life. Now, when I talk about a general way of life, I mean, let's talk about smoking, or yeah, smoking. Smoking is something that is common in hip hop music. Now, if I'm going to portray that, people who are a fan of that culture, of that way of life, would be a part of it. They see it as their way of life, and it is something that they would appreciate. On the other hand, if I was to talk about something that affects real life principles, talking about things like inner beauty, talking about what other inner principle, sincerity, truth, and all those other principles. Now, you will still have another audience. Think about this lady's song. I can't seem to remember her name. It's the way you are strong, you are wise, all this kind of stuff. Now, it talks about inner beauty, and it's kind of had in large audience because it's from the basic principle of life. So those are the three things to consider when thinking about the message. Now, when thinking about the production, now you have to bring about all the passion within you to portray that emotion that you really had at mind. The message starts with an emotion, so you want to get into the rawness of that emotion that you had when you were writing the idea, you were writing down the song. So you have to sit down, think of each word, and think about how to portray each word the best way. So that pertains to skill. Now, you're no more spontaneous. You have to sit down and draw up a skill, a scheme or a chart in which you express yourself best. And you have to work with a creative team, and I'm talking about the production team, the people who will make your beats, the studio sessions. Everything has to be as creative as possible to portray your message. It has to give the message the most clarity possible. So those are the things to consider under the content arena. Now when it gets to the recommendation, now that place is a little tricky, but I think I've cracked it a little. Now what you need to work on is endorsement and advertisement. Now endorsement and advertisement are two different things. Advertisement deals with people within your reach, and for instance now, I call it the quantity and quality principle. So for instance, quantity, I could use social media and try as much as possible to reach people. I pay, I use ads, all those ideas, go on radio, go on TV. Those are the ways I can do it. Now that might get me audience, and but it might not get me the largest audience. The largest audience are gotten through endorsement. And how do you get endorsement? Endorsement is gotten by getting someone who is influential to approve of your work. So for instance now, if it's something like what Ty Tribet did for Travis Green when they sang Made a Way at, no, Intentional rather, at an open park, and that simple act made him very popular. So Ty Tribet was endorsing Travis Green and it made him popular. So it's endorsement works better, but so both of them work hand in hand. You can't get endorsement without advertisement, so you have to start the process. Advertisement is something within your niche. Endorsement is not something you get easily without having made your name through advertisement. So they are intertwined, and you can't do one and leave the other. So in conclusion, I would like to say that I'll be posting a lot on Instagram and Facebook, and some of the things I have found out to be true. I can't do a video of everything. So you could follow me on Instagram as voice coach King Dude, and you can follow me on Facebook at King Dude. I have a page on Facebook, King Dude, so you can just check it out and see. Thank you for watching.